Welcome to the Mindset Game podcast. I'm your host, Verit Kogan, and I'm deeply grateful and super excited to introduce you to Pamala Oslie. Pam Oslie is an author, a consultant, radio show host, professional psychic, intuitive, and aura expert. She has appeared on ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, The Dr. Oz Show, The View, and many other television and radio shows. She has also been featured in many national magazines. Pam has written 4 successful and popular books: Life Colors, Love Colors, Infinite You, and Make Your Dreams Come True. And Pam hopefully will also share with us another book that's going to be coming out soon. And she has a very extensive clientele, including many celebrities. Pam is a TEDx speaker, as well as having spoken at the International Forum on New Science, Fortune 500 companies, and many seminars for professionals in the psychology, education, health fields, and more. She was awarded the Holistic Transformational Leader of the Year Award by the Global Association of Holistic Psychotherapy and Coaching. Pam is the founder of auracolors.com, a site designed to help you create success, joy, and fulfillment in every area of your life. And she has developed the www.lovecolors.com, which is a site designed to help you find love and friendships by matching you with people who have compatible aura colors. And I am so delighted to welcome you to the show. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love this. Thank you.
So in this podcast, we love to start with you sharing, if you'd be open to that, a little bit about your background, how you got into this pretty awesome line of work that you do.
Well, let's see. I started out in the psychology, sociology fields. I was working with challenged children, autistic children, and then I got kind of burnt out and I went into the rock and roll business. So then I was working with, no, I'm going to be nice to them, creative people. And I love creative people. I love joking about it. Anyway, I was running concert facilities and promoting concerts and, big rock and roll stars, and was running a theater here in Santa Barbara. And I went to hear he called himself a shaman, a psychic, a shaman, a channeler. I went to hear him speak and I walked into the room and he went, "You up here, you know how to do this too." And what? No, what? Anyway, he pulled me up in front of the audience that day and said, "I want you to start telling people what you see about them." So basically I was thrown in the water, and I was shocked to see that I knew things about people I'd never met before. I knew a woman over to my right was pregnant. She didn't even know she was pregnant. And this is the first time that this had ever happened to me. I saw the spirit of a little girl standing next to her. So she went to the doctor days later, found out she was pregnant. She ended up having a little girl. So I found I was getting very detailed information about people. So that started me on I like to call it expanded consciousness, as opposed to psychic that conjures up. I mean, that's, my title. I'm psychic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, all of those cliche topics or titles. But I like to use the term expanded consciousness, because honestly, I believe we all have these abilities. It's natural. If I can do this, that means everyone's capable of doing it. Some people are just going to be better at it than others. Like some people are great piano players and athletes, and some not so much, but we can all run track or, work out. So I was doing the psychic work for about a year. Then I met a woman who could see auras, and she thought everyone could. She had synesthesia, which people can look that up. It's like cross wiring. You can taste sound or hear colors, they cross wires. So she saw auras. And when she described what she saw around people, I realized that's what I was picking up psychically about people. And so when she would describe someone, I go, "Oh, that's a blue. No wonder I keep seeing similarities in people that I've been seeing over the years." And, "Oh, that's a green. Oh, that makes sense to me now." So then within a year of meeting her, I developed the ability to see and sense the aura myself. And then over the years, when I'm dealing with people, because I've been seeing 6 to 8 people a day now for 37 years, I've discovered a whole lot more about those different aura colors than she ever taught me. I mean, we didn't have that much time together. But so basically, that's how I got into the psychic business. That's how I got into the seeing auras business, but my life has always been about trying to go beyond boundaries. I don't like boundaries. It's always been a spiritual consciousness quest. I want to know who we are. I want to know what we're capable of doing. And so my life has always been about what else, what else, what else. And that's why that night that I went to hear that psychic speak, he said, look, you've been asking to go to the next level. This is it. It was like, I didn't think it was going to look like that, but I jumped in.
Oh, such a cool experience. And you said these words of kind of who are we and what are we capable of? And that's a question that as a coach, I hear people asking themselves. And so how do you connect now this concept of aura colors? And if you don't mind even sharing a little bit more about what that is and kind of this, a little bit about who people are, or maybe knowing even what might be fulfilling for them from a career or professional perspective.
Okay, great. Well, according to quantum physics, which I also study because I want to know why I can do what I can do, they kind of went hand in hand. Everything's made of energy. We're all energy. And so what I've discovered is we radiate this energy. A lot of people see auras. It's an electromagnetic or an energy field that radiates off of everything. Now, I've met people that see the exact same aura colors that I do, and I've met other people that see colors differently. It doesn't mean one person's right and the other one's wrong. It just means we're having different experiences. I like to use the example, there are people out there that love Brussels sprouts. They are not tasting what I'm tasting, okay? So the way I see the aura is there's lots of different colored bands. It's like a glow that comes off of people. I see it in bands that radiate out. And each one of the bands tell a different story, but the one or two colors of bands that are closest to the body, in my experience, those are the life colors. Those colors don't usually change. Not that I would ever limit anyone, especially you've got people listening that have yellow or green in their aura, and those two colors do not like being told what to do. So I go, no, this is not to tell you to put you in a box and categorize you. This is to help validate who you are and give you permission to be who you are. So the one or two colors in the bands of the aura don't usually change. Those are the colors that show a person's life purpose, the careers they're going to be drawn to and most fulfilled in, what they're like in relationship, money, potential health issues, and how each one of the aura colors has a different way of staying healthy, of staying in power. They each have different tools, different methodologies. They've each got different tools to do this. Different modalities. So the outer bands, people go, I thought the aura changes. The outer bands in the aura, in my visions, change all the time depending on what's going on with the person at the time. So if somebody's really angry, a lot of red shows up in their aura. But once they're not angry anymore, that goes away. That is different than a red life color, which is a personality type. So the reason I like to do this is to, like I said, help people understand who they are and give them permission. Now, without sounding weird to some of your people, but you have Violet, so I can talk this way. I believe that when we chose to come to this incarnation, this planet, we decided a theme that we wanted, what we wanted to do, who we wanted to be, what we wanted to experience, who we wanted to connect with. So what we did was we kind of left clues behind, or breadcrumbs, just in case we got here and forgot that, which is very easy to do. So we left little clues behind in our aura colors, astrology, numerology, iridology, palmistry. They're all just clues, not to run our lives, to remind us or reflect back to us what we're choosing, what we've chosen to be. Now, if people want to go, I don't think I chose to be here, then just know that your aura colors still tell a story about yourself. They reveal who you are, not control. I don't even believe astrology controls you. It reveals the choices that you're making, the choices that you have made, and what you're choosing to do now. So it helps you with your life direction.
You explain that so clearly, and what comes to mind, I've done many, many different kind of assessments over the years with people, personality assessments, strengths assessments, and so on. And it's almost like a form of an assessment in a sense of to kind of see what you naturally are. Yeah.
Oh, totally. I have companies calling me all the time going, well, we read your colors and they're very similar to the, oh my gosh, it's not Enneagram, but Enneagram 2, but there's another one. There's I forget the Myers-Briggs. the Myers-Briggs. They call me up and they go, oh my gosh, this matches the Myers-Briggs, but the colors, it's so much easier to remember. And it's so cute. They go, it's sexier, it's cooler. It's like, it's easier to remember. It's amazing how it matches up. So again, we've created a lot of tools to help us remember who we are and get into empowerment about who we are and to live our true fulfillment.
And years ago, I took your aura color assessment on your website. I have a client, as you know, who has worked with you. And so I became very curious and I did that test myself. And what I saw in writing afterwards and what was shared back to me was exactly what I knew to be true, what I sensed and at that point knew to be true about my path. And it was such a breakthrough moment for me and completely validated that, there's something there.
Yeah. There's so many people out there living unfulfilled lives or stuck in jobs and careers that they're not happy with, but we've been trained, well, you've got to make a living, you have to do such and such, you need to fit in, this is what's practical. And for example, you violets, no, it's not about practical, it's about your vision and your dream and showing what's possible and living on a bigger level, not the little 9-to-5 jobs that tans are happy in, but not violets.
So what would you say to some of the people listening now who are thinking, there's something bigger for me out there. I just feel it. There's something more. I'm not truly living the richest life I could live, the most fulfilling life I could live. What might be a good starting point for them, or maybe some things they can look into or explore?
Well, the first thing I always tell people, aura colors aside, always learn how to get still and go inside and connect with your inner voice and connect with who you really are and listen to that. That's number one. I don't care what aura color you are. Going inside and listening to your inner voice is number one on the list. Now, a lot of us can't get quiet anymore, especially not in the US or Western society where everything's always information overload and activity and busyness and technology. And so it's challenging to get still, but that's number one. Number two, you can go to my website and take the free aura color quiz, see what your colors are. And I recommend that when people take the quiz, to be really true to yourself, not what you think you're supposed to be, not what your family expected you to be, none of that. It's like deep inside answer, true to your soul, true to what you know about yourself. And you're going to see your aura colors. And then I've got all kinds of help for each one of those aura colors of how to find your life, what your life path probably is, because I know each of the aura colors has a specific life purpose, a reason for being here. So to read all that, to listen to the free videos I've got courses. I've created as many resources as I can to help people understand who they are and live their truth.
And being a trainer with the Institute of Heart Math, I know that there is such a thing as non-local intuition, as information, guidance that comes through to us when we ask for it in a relaxed, coherent state that is beyond time and space. And it is really exciting that you have these abilities to access other people's consciousness, to kind of go beyond what we know to be time into these parallel universes. Let's begin with expanded consciousness. What does that even mean?
That means that according to quantum physics, even we're not who we are is energy and consciousness, and non-local mind basically in lay terms means we've been trained to think, we think from our brains, right? That we're physical bodies, mechanistic, that's Newtonian physics, machines, biological machines. We're limited to our bodies. Everything comes from our brains. It's like, no, according to quantum physics, our consciousness has very little to do with our brains. We go way beyond that. And our brain and our body is a focusing mechanism. I like to use the analogy of if you watch TV, the program is not generated. You can see all the lights and the circuits lighting up, just like our brains do when something's going on. But the TV set did not originate that program. It's out in the airwaves someplace. It's in from satellites or whatever. It's out in the ethers, and we're pulling it into our TV set. That's what we do. We're focusing mechanisms, but we also create. We create our reality. I mean, that's a way big conversation there, okay? But I mean, the double slit experiment even shows how consciousness affects first it's waves of possibilities and probabilities, and then an observer focuses on those waves of possibilities, and it blinks into one particle, it blinks into light, it goes into one particle. So they're showing the observer effect in quantum physics, that our consciousness, our minds, not our brains, who we are, which is beyond our bodies, are basically able to connect, to communicate. I've done missing persons before and known where people are because I can go check somebody out without leaving my room. I've been able to tune in. Well, we just did this before we got on this call. You asked me to tune into your daughters, and I picked up every single one of them without seeing them, without meeting them, without knowing them, because I know my consciousness is entangled. I know it's non-local, so I can go anywhere and pick that up. It just shows that our consciousness is not as limited as we think. So I can even see outside of time, past, present, future, past lives, future lives. In this lifetime, I can talk to people about because they have free will, where they're headed. If you stay on the path you're on right now, I can look at your past and see what went on with your past. So that shows non-local mind. And Einstein was discussing that. He used the term that that time is like, it's relative, but even if you hadn't gotten to a lake yet, even if in your journeys you hadn't arrived at a lake, does not mean that lake doesn't already exist. So there are so many things going on right now that are so much more expansive. And I feel like some of your listeners are feeling like there's something more they're here to do, or something more they want to do. And if they're not sure of it, again, an easy way to do it is understand their aura colors, because that'll reveal what they are here to do. And then exploring things like quantum physics. Oh my gosh. I mean, people don't even understand what E=mc² is. But in lay terms, what that means is mass and energy are interchangeable. And quantum physics is showing there's no solid to who we are. It's energy. Everything's energy. So to me, that is profound. And they're saying, I mean, I worked with scientists years ago. I spoke in front of science groups and consciousness groups, and they were saying, it takes sometimes 24 to 42 years once a discovery happens for it to get into even the educational system, let alone into the mass consciousness. So it's a shift. And to me, it's exciting. I mean, can you imagine the first time way back when somebody came back and went, the Earth's not flat, it's round. Yeah, right. Or, well, we can fly. I mean, aerodynamics was a truth long before we discovered aerodynamics. So can you imagine the first time we can fly? Yeah, no, I don't think so. There's still people that don't want to fly. But the more we understand about reality, the more freedom we have, in my estimation. Because look, when we discovered that the Earth wasn't flat and it was round, we had more freedom. When we discovered aerodynamics and that we could fly, that gave us more freedom. So quantum physics, parallel universes, and non-local mind and entanglement, once we understand all that, we actually have more freedom. Yes. To me, it's exciting.
It's very exciting for me as well. And I imagine for our listeners, because this podcast is all about the power of our thoughts and emotions to deliberately create our desired reality, which presupposes that we have some free will, yes, as to what we focus into.
Ah, that's a Violet word. There you go. You're talking like a Violet. Yeah, that's why. And again, not only does it help us, the aura colors, for example, understanding our own energy field and the colors, not only does it help us understand and live our best potential, but it helps us get along with other people. Instead of running around going, why can't you think more like me? Or how could you be like that? You go, oh, you're a crystal. Oh, okay, I get it. That's what's important to you. That's your personality. That's how you are. So it helps us understand each other and hopefully have compassion and get along with others and bring the best out of them by understanding who they are, speaking their language, understanding their priorities, how they process life. Some colors process mostly physically, other colors process mostly mentally and analytically, and other colors process through their intuition, their emotions, their feelings. And we all have those, but it's a predominant way of processing life.
And I would like to ask you about that compassion, that state of compassion, or the state of coherence. Yes, the kind of shifting from the judgment mind, the ego mind, to the heart. What actually do you notice when people kind of feed the field around their body with love, when they are in that coherent state and really focused on that? What, if anything, do you notice or sense?
Well, each color is different, of course, but what typically happens is their aura gets bigger. It becomes expansive. It becomes more bright and vibrant. When people are judgmental, their aura can get kind of dark and heavy and contracted. When people are unhappy, depressed, sad, it affects the color, not the actual color, the hue of the color. So when blues are happy and they're vibrant, it's this beautiful blue color that's and their life. Blues, it's all about love. That's the number one priority for love and spirituality. So when the blue is happy and serving others, which is their mission here, that's what they live for, is spirituality, love, and being in service, their auras get brilliant. When they get depressed and feel unloved and lonely, or they can get into victim and martyrdom and self-pity, their aura actually turns, the blue turns kind of a darker blue, almost like a navy blue, and it gets very thick and very dense. So the moods, the emotions, our thoughts, and our thoughts give rise to our feelings and emotions. So yeah, it definitely changes the energy field, and we've all felt it. When people say, wait a minute, even if you can't see auras, we've all felt them. That's why you can meet somebody for the first time and feel comfortable being around them and engaging with them. And other people, you go, I don't want to be near this person. Especially you yellows, you're violet and yellow, added blue. Yellows feel it kinesthetically. Violets are the first ones to see it because they come from the third eye. Blues feel people emotionally. They're very emotionally heartfelt. So we've all felt that, which is why we connect with some people, and other people are just, no, even when we've just met them. So it's not like you know a lot about them. You just have a feeling. They used to call it in the 60s, you got a vibe. There's a vibe, which is a vibration, which is a frequency.
Yeah. You know, one of the guests that we've had on this podcast is Dr. Nancy Rizzo, who's a medical physicist. She worked out of the Mayo Clinic, and she has a device that kind of similar to Kirlian photography that can measure the biofield. My husband and I went to get one of these scans to kind of see, and for health reasons, to kind of see what she notices energetically around the body so that we can prevent certain things from manifesting in the body. And she was sharing that when she asked cancer patients, to recall that moment when they heard the C word, yeah? That the field, you could actually see it visibly in the imaging technology, actually contract, just as you're saying. And when they focused on a happy moment, maybe the birth of a child, the moment of a happy marriage, right? The field expanded.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just fascinating to me that all of everything that we know from HeartMath and other research organizations, from people like you who have these special gifts, really are aligned.
Yeah, it's all coming to light too. And I want to say two things. One, if people go to fairs and they do those aura cameras, they don't always pick up the life colors that I see. When I have clients that have those cameras, and they say those cameras, not the one you did, not the health one. There's other cameras that you see at psychic fairs and stuff. They pick up the emotional energy of the person at that time. They don't always pick up the life colors. And our energy and our thoughts affect our body and affect our health. So in the years that I've been doing this, I've discovered that 99.9% of the time that people have health issues, there's a mental, emotional issue underlying it. Okay. So, and I know people's like, no, it really, what I've noticed is that what causes things like cancer is guilt or anger or regret, or I shouldn't be here, or, there's definitely emotional energy behind it. Okay. And again, not everyone. I mean, I have family friends that their little 4-year-old had brain cancer. It wasn't her thoughts, her beliefs. She came here to just do a short life. And everyone saw her. I mean, she was like a little adult at 4 years old. She looked like she was 20, came across that way. So that was a different reason, but that's a very narrow percentage of souls that came here to just have short lives. We're emerging into a different understanding of who we are, energy, consciousness, and reality.
And if you don't mind touching just a little bit on the power of thought, and particularly habitual thoughts, or what we would call beliefs or expectations, how do our beliefs what we believe to be true about ourselves or others, or kind of the oversignificance that we give to certain things based on our beliefs, how does that shape our auras, our energy, and the trajectory of our life?
It's all connected. Thought and energy, consciousness and energy, it's all connected. So you experience your life based on your beliefs about who you are. We limit ourselves or we empower ourselves with our thoughts and beliefs. None of it's real. None of it's real. It's energy and it's consciousness. And again, that's something quantum physics has said, which is like, I've talked to these physicists, they go, we don't know what to do with that. We're sitting on a chair. We shouldn't be. There's nothing solid to this chair. We don't know what to do with this, but they know it's true. So our thoughts create, or they affect the energy. And so it's all commingled. It's all intertwined. And if you have negative limiting thoughts about yourself, you're going to live that way. I tell people, if you got in a car and you didn't believe you could drive, you're not going to drive anywhere, or you're going to be afraid, or you're going to run into ditches. If you have most of us have a belief that we can get in a car and drive. And so we do. Most of us have a belief that we can walk. So we do. So our thoughts and beliefs about ourselves have everything to do with our experience in life. If people believe nothing ever works out for them, that's usually what they're going to experience. If people believe that life always works out for them, it's like amazing. And their perception, if people don't believe that our thoughts create our reality and our experience, at least our perception of life and reality affects our lives.
So are you saying that when we change our beliefs, when you see somebody maybe accepting and releasing some trapped emotions, like the ones that may lead to things like cancer in your perception, or other limiting mindsets, right? I'm not good enough, I can't drive, all those things, whatever that might be, that it actually changes the soul's trajectory, like the path? Can we actually change the future?
Yeah, that's part of the work that I do is people talk to me and I look at the path they're on. And I look to see if their beliefs are heading them into something like a divorce or an illness or getting fired. I mean, I can look at their beliefs. I can see where they are. I like to use the analogy. Imagine that you're in a big city and you're in a helicopter and you fly up over the city and you've got contact. You're on their cell phone with somebody in a car down below you. And you go, hey, don't go down this street right now because there's a big traffic jam ahead. If you turn right and go over 2 blocks and then you won't hit the traffic jam. And then in the car, they can't see what's way ahead in that, it's like, what are you talking about? I don't see anything. So I look to see what people are believing, what they're creating with their lives, look at their beliefs about that, help them shift it, or at least give them tools to help them shift it, which is why I wrote the book, Make Your Dreams Come True. It's all about discovering what hidden beliefs you've got in there that you might not even know about, and then showing you how to shift them, and then show them what they can do to change it. And I've had people come back and go, you know what, you told me I was headed for a divorce and I sensed it. And so we did this, and this, just like what you said, and we're really happy now. So we prevented. I like to do positive solutions. I like to show people they're capable of doing it. I had a reading, and this has happened way often than I like. I had a reading with a young girl, and when I tuned in, I went, you have so much anger and resentment towards your dad that when I look in your future, and again, not self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, that's why I want to help people change it. I go, you're headed for breast cancer, sweetie. I can see it in the energy. If you do this, and this, it won't happen. You'll avoid it. It'll never manifest that way. Well, she came back to me a few years later and said, I didn't do what you said. I couldn't forgive my dad and I have breast cancer. So can we work on this now to please get rid of it? So everyone has free will to do whatever journey, whatever path they want. My goal is to show people we're not limited. We're not victims. And most people think that they're stuck, that they have to do a certain lifestyle. And when they realize that we have more freedom, more choice, more power to create, not control, create our lives, oh my gosh, it absolutely changes our trajectory. You're going to use a big word on me. It changes our path. The soul already knew what it wanted to do when it came here. It's usually the ego that takes us off of some blind alley or into a ditch.
And for people who heard this story very quickly about this client of yours who manifested the breast cancer, is it possible, and I'm not specifically asking about her, but even in that moment when it's already manifested in our life, when we're in the suffering, something has happened, is it still possible right? To release that, to heal ourselves physically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In a moment, I tell people, time, that's another quantum physics thing. There's really no time. So I tell people it takes as much time as you believe it will, or that you feel safe having it. So people can release things in an instant. People can take years to release something. Humans, we're very addicted to our stories. We love emotions and feelings. That's why we go to the movies or watch TV or watch comedians or, go jump out of airplanes. I mean, we're very addicted to our emotions and our feelings. And what happens is, it's happened to all of us. We can get very caught in our story and not let go of it, and get attention that way or get the feeling out of it. So I don't tell people they're not justified in having their feelings, but it's like, when you're ready, you can change your story. And that's also parallel universes. That's how you shift from, it's like changing the dial on your radio, or changing, you can tell how old I am, changing the dial on your radio, changing the frequency. If you're listening or watching a show on one TV show and you don't like it, we know to change the channel. If you're listening to a song on the radio and you don't like it, we know to change the station. It's a frequency. We change the frequency. Well, people believe there's only one reality and only one choice, and they're stuck in it, and we're victims and we have no say over it. And I'm like, no, not true. You can change the frequency, and they're proving that. But again, I don't want to take away people's stories or dramas or feelings, but it's okay to know you have a choice.
That's right. And I think you've given that to us today, for people at the very least to suspend disbelief, to be curious. And as you said, to research it, to go onto your website, to look into the various videos that you have, look into quantum physics, look into heart math. There's so many tools to allow us to accept and release those trapped emotions or limiting beliefs, so that we can be in that metaphoric helicopter in the more objective, neutral place, look down and access that non-local intuition that will guide us towards the highest and best path for ourselves and others. With all my love, thank you, Pam. How can people learn more about you, your many courses, your books, your videos?
Everything's on my website right now, auracolors.com, AURA colors.com. And I just want to add really quickly, because you have a lot of violets listening. You violets, you're in your time right now. You guys came here to help improve the quality of life for people. You have big things to do. So violets get accused of being unrealistic dreamers, sweetie. But if you guys are feeling that pull, that tug, there's a good chance you have violet in your aura. Okay. So we need you to step up now. It's really big. It's okay. So anyway, I want to say thank you very much. Yeah. auracolors.com is my website. And there's all kinds of information there, free stuff, courses, videos, books, the whole bit. And I want to thank you for doing projects like this, for doing podcasts like this, to help inspire, empower, educate. That's what you violets are here to do: educate, inspire, and empower others. So you're doing that. And I appreciate that you invited me to be a guest.
Oh, with all my heart, once again, thank you.